Here's what's going on. According to credible reports, a number of senior military officers have been detained in connection with an alleged coup plot aimed at overthrowing Bola Tinubu and his government. The allegations are serious. We'll go into the details in a moment. First off, who are the accused? Reports indicate that at least 16 military officers have been detained so far. 14 of them are from the Nigerian army, and 2 are from the Navy and Air Force, respectively. The ranks span from a Brigadier General, Colonel, Lieutenant Colonels, Majors, Captains, down to a Lieutenant. Many of these officers are from the Infantry Corps, 12 of the 14 Army officers, with the others from the Signals Corps and Ordnance Corps. Now, what are they accused of? The gist is that they allegedly planned to overthrow President Tinubu's government. The plot allegedly included plans to remove him and other top officials from office. One source even says they were preparing to declare a military government. The arrests apparently took place following intelligence operations, and the military says the probe is routine internal, though this is clearly more than routine given the seriousness of the allegations. Here's some of the names and ranks publicly reported so far, and you'll want to listen carefully because this is part of the real story. Among the officers, Musa Abubakar Sadiq, Brigadier General, believed by some reports to be the leader of the alleged plot. M.A. Maaji, Colonel, said to have acted as a key strategist. S. Bapa, Lieutenant Colonel, in the Signals Corps. A. Hayatu, Lieutenant Colonel, Infantry Corps. P. Dangnap, Lieutenant Colonel, Infantry Corps. M. Almakura, Lieutenant Colonel, Infantry Corps. A. J. Ibrahim, Major, Infantry Corps. M. Yiddah, Major. M. A. Usman, Major. D. Yusuf, Major, Ordnance Corps. I. Dauda, Major, Short Service Commission. Ibrahim Bello, Captain. A. Yusuf, Captain. S. Felix, Lieutenant. D. B. Abdullahi, Navy Lieutenant Commander. S. B. Adamu, Air Force Squadron Leader. So you see, a wide spread of ranks, services, and roles. It's not just junior officers, there's a Brigadier General included, and multiple senior ranks. What about why they allegedly did it? Some background. According to sources, many of the officers are drawn from specific geopolitical zones, North Central, Northeast, Northwest, with only one of the 16 from the Southwest. The suggestion is that issues like career stagnation, dissatisfaction, and possibly politicized grievances may have played a role. One report says the officers were attached to the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, under Nuhu Ribadu. On the question of whether this will become a full-blown coup or whether it was fully formed. At this point, the authorities have not publicly confirmed every detail, and the situation is under investigation. The military says this is an internal process, but many observers think that the scale and seniority of the accused indicate something much more serious. Now, why does this matter to you and me? Well, it raises questions about the strength and discipline of Nigeria's military institutions. If high-ranking officers are alleged to be plotting a removal of the elected government, that spells instability. It may affect national security if the chain of command is fractured, or trust in the armed forces eroded. It affects how the country responds to insurgency, internal threats, and broader defense challenges. It also has political implications. For President Tinubu's government, this is a big test of authority, legitimacy, and control. How this is handled will send signals to other actors, military, political, civil society, about how much power rests where. For Nigerians, broadly, this kind of news can affect investor confidence, foreign relations, and how Nigeria is viewed internationally. Instability scares off investment. Let me engage you all. Do you believe that these allegations are real? Or might it be a smokescreen for something else? Perhaps internal military discipline issues or political maneuvering? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Meanwhile, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe, it really helps. Some additional context. The fact that the alleged plot was reportedly linked to the 1st October Independence Day celebrations, which is a major national event, adds to the gravity. One source claimed the planned coup was timed around that event. Also, after the arrests, there was a shakeup of senior military leadership. New service chiefs were appointed in quick succession. Some reports connect those changes to the fallout from this alleged plot, though officially the government may not use those exact words. Let's talk a little about what happens next. Investigation. The military intelligence and national security agencies are expected to continue probing the accused officers. Witnesses, documents, phone records, communications will be examined. Transparency. One question will be how transparent this process is. If the government keeps things highly secret, speculation and rumors will fill the vacuum. Trial. If the allegations lead to formal trials, perhaps military court-martials or special tribunals, that will be watched. The legal process, rights of the accused, evidence, all will matter. Repercussions. Both for the service branches involved and for the wider military institution. If some officers are found guilty, how will the military reorganize or rebuild trust? Political consequences. For President Tinubu's administration, it could be a source of strength if it's handled well, or a vulnerability if it looks like elites within the state are trying to undermine him. This is a high-stakes story with multiple moving parts. As it stands now, the key facts are senior officers detained, alleged coup attempt, significant leadership roles implicated, and national security implications. All of that brings us to why you should care. First, you must understand that Nigeria has a long and complicated history with coups. Since independence in 1960, the country has experienced several military takeovers. From the January 1966 coup that overthrew Tafawa Balewa's government to the one that brought in General Yakubu Gowon, and later the 1983 coup that removed Shehu Shagari. Nigerians who lived through those periods still remember the fear, the tension, and the uncertainty. So, any mention of coup immediately shakes the country's collective memory. Now, the alleged plot against President Tinubu comes at a time when the political atmosphere is already tense. Economic hardship, subsidy, removal, fallout, inflation, rising insecurity, and frustration among the youth. Some political observers believe these social pressures may have created a fertile ground for dissatisfaction, even within the military. But here's where it gets interesting. According to multiple insider reports, some of these officers were reportedly attached to sensitive national security positions, especially under the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA. That's not a small thing. It means they had access to intelligence, coordination channels, and government movement details. So, when such officers are accused, it becomes a big national security alarm. Now, here's something many Nigerians are asking. Could this be a real coup attempt, or is it a case of internal politics within the military being exaggerated? That's a fair question. Some sources claim the so-called coup plot might have been more of a mutiny in planning, meaning maybe not a full-scale government overthrow, but a growing dissatisfaction that was being monitored. Others insist there was a real, coordinated plan, with senior officers ready to act. But because of Nigeria's tight intelligence system and the NSA's current focus on internal discipline, they were reportedly intercepted early. Let's also look at timing. This happened just weeks after Nigeria's Independence Day, and only a few months after President Tinubu reshuffled the military leadership. Some insiders believe that the shakeup created tension among officers who felt sidelined or retired early. We've seen that before in Nigerian history. When certain officers lose influence, some may begin to grumble, and if that grumbling spreads to others, it becomes risky. Please, if you're watching this right now, hit the like button and subscribe. We're unpacking this story in simple English, so that everyone can follow and understand. Now, back to the bigger picture. International partners, especially the US, UK, and ECOWAS, are said to be watching closely. Nigeria is the largest democracy in Africa, and a coup here would shake the entire region. Remember what happened recently in Naija, Mali, and Burkina Faso, all military takeovers that have isolated those countries diplomatically. ECOWAS and the African Union have made it clear they won't tolerate any more unconstitutional power grabs. So, if the reports about the coup plot are accurate, Nigeria would be under immense pressure to act swiftly but fairly to show control without violating human rights. That's why the government is treading carefully, confirming arrests, but not making too many public statements yet. Now, one of the questions people keep asking is, what happens to these officers now? According to military law, if the allegations are true, they will face a court-martial. But that process is not immediate. It involves internal investigations, military legal panels, and presentation of evidence. The government will also want to be sure that the charges are solid before making anything public. At the same time, we need to be fair. These officers are still alleged coup plotters. Until the military formally announces findings, they are accused, not convicted. That's important, because in Nigeria, once a story hits the media, people can easily jump to conclusions. Now, let's talk about how the Nigerian people are reacting. On social media, especially X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, opinions are sharply divided. Some Nigerians are saying, let's not believe everything we read. It could be a political move. Others are worried, saying, this is exactly how chaos starts if we're not careful. We may see instability like in the 1980 seconds. What makes it even more sensitive is that Nigeria has been battling rising insecurity from banditry in the northwest, terrorism in the northeast, and secessionist agitations in the southeast. A divided military in such a climate is dangerous. Now let me make this clear. There's no sign that the country is in immediate danger or that there's a breakdown of command. The Nigerian military remains under control, and all reports indicate that normal operations continue. However, what this event does is raise a red flag, reminding the government that internal unity and welfare within the armed forces must be taken seriously. Before we go further, please don't forget to like this video if you're still watching. It really helps the channel grow, and it tells YouTube to show this story to more Nigerians who need to stay informed. And of course, subscribe for future updates. We'll continue following this story as it develops. Alright, now let's discuss what might be driving such tensions in the first place. Some experts have pointed to frustration over delayed promotions, lack of adequate welfare for officers, and general political interference in military postings. There are also reports of regional and ethnic balancing issues that have caused quiet discontent. In simple terms, some officers feel they're not being treated fairly or represented properly. Add to that the pressure from international partners who keep demanding reforms and accountability within the Nigerian security system. It's a lot of pressure on the military leadership. So, even though this alleged coup plot is being condemned, it may also serve as a warning signal that there's unrest bubbling underneath, and it needs to be handled carefully before it turns into something bigger. Let's be honest, Nigerians are tired. People want food prices to go down, they want power supply to improve, and they want security restored. Many citizens feel like democracy has not yet delivered the life they hoped for, and when that frustration builds, it sometimes spills into other institutions, including the military. If you're following me so far, type "I'm following" in the comments and tell me what you think. Do you believe this was a real coup plot or just internal politics being exaggerated? I really want to hear your thoughts. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, to wrap this segment, here's where things stand. The military has confirmed the detention of multiple officers. Investigations are ongoing under the Office of the National Security Advisor. The Presidency has not yet made a public televised statement, likely to avoid panic. Analysts warn that how this situation is handled will determine whether trust in the military remains intact or not. Nigeria's democracy has come a long way, and it must be protected. The lesson here is that every government needs to listen to its people, address their pain, and ensure fairness in the system. Because when people, even soldiers, begin to feel unheard, that's when trouble begins. Thank you for staying with me till this point. If you want me to break down the profiles of each accused officer, including where they served, their military records, and how this could reshape the Nigerian military structure type, continue in the comments or below this chat, and we'll dive straight into it.